Whenever anybody says to me, science contradicts the Bible, I have a very sad feeling for them. There's no science in the Bible to contradict. There's no biology, no geology, no physics, no chemistry anywhere in the Bible. So it's impossible for science to contradict the Bible. Obviously, the Bible contradicts a philosophy of science that says there's no intelligent mind behind the universe. And the Bible insists, oh yes, there is. In the beginning, God created. Science is a fascinating study of process. The Bible has no study of process, but the Bible lays the foundation for science because the Bible insists that there are laws in nature that have been given us by a lawgiver. And that is the basis of modern science, an understanding that there are given laws that point us to a lawgiver, and therefore, by using our rational minds, we can think God's thoughts after him. I love the way Albert Einstein said it when he said, the most incomprehensible thing about the universe is that it's comprehensible. Why do we have rational minds that enable us to understand creation? Because God gave us those minds.
I always hear, you can't prove God, so you can't believe in God. Do you have any idea how many things you can't prove in this world? Human rights, why live for them? Consciousness, logic, your desire for beauty. Endless amounts of things you cannot believe in this world based off of proof. That's important to realize.
Oh, Cliffy and Cliff Jr. Oh, how you lie so well. So Cliff's stance is that there is no science in the Bible. There is merely the lawgiver, though, and the fact that there are laws, it demonstrates that there must be a lawgiver since there are laws of nature. And science is merely just telling you how God did things. Yet there is plenty of science in the Bible. Now I can look at some of the smaller things of when a man suspects that his wife may have cheated on him and the baby that she carries is not his own, that the priest mix up a natural elixir of herbs and dirt and some water, and she drinks it. And if she has a miscarriage, then the baby's DNA will react negatively towards that because it's not the father's DNA. And somehow this dirt and everything knows that. And she'll have a miscarriage. But if the baby's DNA is the father's, then that dirt is going to know that it's the baby's father, that he's the baby's father. No DNA swabbing required. Now, I can point to the small things like that of science. But how about something major since he talked about creation? Well, according to your Bible, you say science is just merely figuring out how God did it, right? But according to your Bible, God created the earth first. And then on about the fourth day, he created the sun, the moon, and the stars, right? Sounds like some astronomy to me, mixed in with some biology, some chemistry, a whole bunch of other ologies and histories got to be mixed in there in order to create the stars, the earth, the sun, the moon. Said that the moon gives off its own light. Don't seem to be so now, does it? Seems that science figured out that the moon is merely reflecting light from the sun. It seemed that this whole thing about how the earth was constructed based on the Bible is that there are pillars holding up the earth, but there is a dome over the top, and there's a big edge. The dome is creating an edge, and the flat earthers like to say that's the ice wall. And underneath there's Sheol, and there's also some water, and then above the dome there's a whole bunch of more water. And the dome is protecting the earth from all the water. Now, every other object that we observe in space is some type of a sphere, but the earth is different. Then you got to remember that the sun, the moon, and the stars are all inside this dome as well. Now, I want you to think about something. At the time frame that they was writing, they would also have thought all the 9 planets, well, the other 8, all the planets are inside this dome as well. So when all them flat earthers say that, they're trying to break the dome encompasses the stars and all the planets. Maybe the dome, if there was one, is so damn far away, we haven't even gotten there yet. Can't even see that far. Y'all should switch to that, flat earthers or domers. The domers, y'all should switch to that. Now, back to the real people. So he says there's no science in the Bible. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of science that the Bible proclaims to have happened, but does not is an impossibility. As I've done so many times in debunking the Noah story, there's not enough water on the planet, above the planet, below the planet, in the air. There's not enough water for Noah's flood to occur. The biology is that after Noah's flood, all the animals around the world made their way to their indigenous places without leaving a fossil record to demonstrate that the kangaroo made its way back to Australia. And only in Australia do we find kangaroo fossils. But if it took them hundreds of years to migrate back, we should see migration fossils for damn near every animal that we know of to only be in one area. Like, so, you know what I mean? The lemurs should only be in Madagascar and the other little islands that people use to create Lemuria. But they should only be there. We should be able to see a lemur fossils coming from the Levant down through the eastern side of Africa, crossing over into Madagascar. We don't see this. But isn't it interesting? We see horses that migrated across the Bering Strait into Asia, and they became extinct in America, in the Americas. Isn't it interesting that we see camels the same way, leaving the Americas about 25,000 years ago and made their way into Asia? See, everything didn't just come over this side during the last ice age. Some things went over, ceased to exist over here. But we can see that in science. Yet the Bible just claims that no, Noah's Ark and all of them just, they all made it there to Noah's Ark, and then they all migrated back. But there's no evidence of the migration. Now, Clifford Jr. jumps in at the end. Oh, you can't prove God. You can't prove beauty. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but there is a consensus of what beauty is, what it looks like. Move my eyes 3 centimeters farther apart, I look totally different. Move my eyes 3 centimeters closer together, I look totally different. In that, some people, it's got a further apart, I'm gonna look worse. I can tell you that one. I know that one for sure. Too close, I'm gonna look crazy as hell. I know that for sure. I'm not saying I'm the most handsome man in the world, but what I am saying is that if you slight changes in where the eyes are, the nose, we all have a consensus of beauty. It can be done on a scale that we can all agree upon. And we can do that by looking at each other, by looking at different pictures of people and establishing our standards of beauty, which is what we have. The same thing with consciousness. I can prove consciousness. I'm fucking alive right now. I'm conscious. I know my existence. I can recognize my existence. That is consciousness. What the hell? What are you talking about, man? Psychology demonstrates the proof of consciousness because I'm able to think. I'm able to recognize and understand my agency. That is proof of consciousness. So what he claims, oh, you can't prove consciousness. Yes, it can. It can. It can be measured by whether or not you have a state of understanding of your existence or not. No matter what level it is, that's what we call brain dead when you don't have any more consciousness, when you have no recognition of agency or self. So that makes absolutely no sense. But what you cannot ever prove is this God. This God does not exist. There's no existence. And just because he said, because if there's a creation, there must be a creator. Yeah, the singularity, nature in itself. But that nature doesn't have to be conscious in order to create. Earth has life on it, which is an amazing thing. But there has to be millions and millions of other planets that have similar life to Earth. And here's the kicker. Earth is not very friendly to life. With all the hurricanes, volcanoes, and floods and everything, the fact that we should only be living in a tropical area because if you drop us off butt ass naked too far up north, we're going to die. Within a year, you're dead. And most of the things on this planet is designed to kill you, like after Earth. So Earth is not this perfect place. But what do you guys think? And always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. The journey